Boys and girls, and ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, this is Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. And the old saying goes, there's nothing like a woman scorned out there. And Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone definitely feel like they've been scorned by the Hollywood media, the press, and, well, basically all of the fans and the audience out there. More by the fans and the audience out there than the actual Hollywood media press. Because, of course, just like the majority of Hollywood actors and activists out there, they completely and totally agree with 99.9% of everything the Hollywood spews out there, part of their virtue signaling spirit of the age garbage. Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, one little piggy is attempting to go to market out there, and that would be none other than, of course, our wonderful Miss Piggy from the Muppets. Yes, boys and girls, the apparent feminist icon out there for people like Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone. Not entirely sure what that says about them, boys and girls, but is going to get the typical Hollywood treatment out there. And yes, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we do honestly think these girls want to hog all of the attention to themselves, because this movie does not look like it's going to be about Miss Piggy in any way, shape, or form, but nothing more than another self-insert situation for a bunch of these ladies to deal with their perceived issues and, of course, all of the backlash that they got for simply speaking their minds. And, of course, in the process, bashing men and anybody that completely and totally disagreed with them in any way, shape, or form, because that's the way things goes. If you're not an ally, you're an enemy after all. At least that's the prevailing thought process out there in Hollywood, because boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone are creating a feminist icon, Miss Piggy movie about cancel culture. Yes, they are. No, our little satire on the whole idea of being completely and totally narcissistic and obsessed with yourself, which is what Miss Piggy completely and totally represents, while being obviously flawed because she's a pig, right? They just don't get the joke. They don't get the pun. And the best part about this is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure these two ladies went absolutely hog wild when they came up with this idea. And yes, I'm making you very well aware right now that this one's probably going to be full of puns. So we're going to check out this article from thatparkplace.com, getting all of the juicy details, and let Miss Stone and Miss Lawrence speak for themselves as to what they plan on doing with our dear sweet Miss Piggy. I'm sure Kermit's not going to like this at all. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you cannot already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 2,300. We're inching our way closer and closer to 24. I think we're sitting at like 2,397 on our journey to 100,000, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below later what you think of all of this. Does it surprise you at all that a Disney-controlled property like the Muppets, i.e. Miss Piggy, is going to get the feminist treatment from Emma Stone and Jennifer Lawrence? Do you agree with these women and their scorn out there that all of the backlash they got from fans and causing their movies, at least in their eyes, to flop miserably was well-deserved? Or do you think that they're just hated for the fact that they're strong, powerful women? I mean, after all, Jennifer Lawrence was the first female action hero in the history of Hollywood, after all, boys and girls. Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. And if you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well, because those memberships do go a very long way, boys and girls, and by the grace of God, this is my full-time job. All right, from Marvin Montanero over there at thatparkplace.com, our dear sweet Marvin, of course, boys and girls. It looks like Miss Piggy is about to join the ranks of Hollywood's reimagined icons. The upcoming Miss Piggy movie, produced by Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone for Disney, isn't a comeback for the Muppets. It's a full-blown feminist satire inspired by cancel culture. Yay! You know, the thing that actually only had an effect in one direction, boys and girls. And after all, like the lefty liberal psychos out there said, it's consequence culture, not cancel culture. Because we're all big boys and girls, and we're responsible for the words that come out of our mouth. Remember? Yes, really. During a recent interview, Lawrence revealed that the film's concept was born during a lockdown conversation about cancel culture. The idea, wouldn't it be so funny if Miss Piggy got canceled? Oh my gosh, what a genius idea for your fan fiction on Tumblr. The tongue-in-cheek premise is now turned into an actual Disney production. Because of course it has, boys and girls. And ladies and gentlemen, there's the lovely Jennifer Lawrence. And honestly, I don't have too much against the lady. She said a bunch of really dumb stuff out there in public, typical of most Hollywood liberals out there. But she's the mother of 2 children, and I hope they end up having a very joyous life together, especially considering the fact that she's allegedly raising Harvey Weinstein's baby. So instead of a lighthearted Muppet Carper or a heartfelt family comedy, the Miss Piggy movie will apparently dive into what happens when Hollywood's most glamorous puppet gets called out by the internet. Boy, I'm sure this isn't particularly referencing any particular kind of, I don't know, pig-faced men out there that these women perceive all of the internet trolls to be out there. Oh, that's right. We're just a bunch of incel losers in our parents' basement, says the guy married with 6 kids. In his garage, by the way, in his garage. Lawrence herself called Piggy a feminist icon, suggesting the project aims to take some kind of modern social statement because heaven forbid Disney just make a fun Muppet film. I mean, honestly, does this surprise anybody? My only question about this is, though, is like how much of this is actually going to end up making it into the movie, because Disney has a real aversion to a lot of this kind of messaging right now. We've heard from Pixar employees how they all got fired, weren't allowed to put gay stuff in kids' entertainment anymore. And I hate to tell you, contrary to maybe what Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone think, the Muppets is a kids show. It's children's entertainment, right? Despite them very much ironically identifying with Miss Piggy and of course her feminist icon status in their own minds. Like, that's what this is. And at the end of the day, how much are they going to let this get through? I don't know. But either way, it's going to be a giant waste of a bunch of Disney money. And I'm always here for that disastrous dumpster fire. According to reports, the script is being written by Cole Escalo. Oh, this is where the common sense is going to enter, right? No, it's not. A biological man who identifies as non-binary. Yeah, he's not possessed by the spirit of the age at all, is he, boys and girls? And is best known for his darkly bizarre Broadway play, Oh, Mary. Sounds really children's friendly and family entertainment, doesn't it? Escalo's sensibilities, paired with Lawrence and Stone's activist reputations, make it clear this won't be your childhood Piggy. Expect biting irony, like some commentary on toxic fame, and plenty of smug winks at social media outrage. Lawrence has even teased that the tone will be really dark and effed up. Words you don't often associate with Kermit's other half. And of course, lest we're enjoying some of those wonderful memes out there about what happens with Mr. Kermit out there, Kermit the Frog, reporting here live, decides to end up, getting sick and tired of Miss Piggy and opens up a butcher shop. Other side of that, I really don't think there's too much Muppet stuff that's really considered dark or effed up. But, yay, Disney. Yay, you're really helping out that family-friendly reputation, aren't you? It's another case of Hollywood mistaking cynicism for creativity and rewriting a beloved property through a modern ideological filter. And honestly, it's just the same old nonsense that they've been doing. This is nothing new. This is nothing original. It's another self-insert, right? Emma Stone and Jennifer Lawrence see themselves as Miss Piggy. Right? I mean, come on. It just writes itself. It just really does. The irony is just lost on them in so many ways because that's what they're going to do. Miss Piggy is going to be a self-insert in for them, just like I Am Not Starfire was a self-insert, just like Kathleen Kennedy self-inserted herself into the Dial of Dysentery and into Disney Star Wars, right? Like, this is nothing new. This is your typical psychotic, talentless hack of a feminist liberal nut job out there who has somehow worked themselves high up into the ranks of Hollywood. We know how Jennifer Lawrence got there. And now is going to do this and talk down to you like they didn't use men the entire way to climb this ladder, and all of a sudden they're feminist icons who want to bash on everybody else out there. For decades, Miss Piggy's human came from self-absorption and over-the-top diva behavior. The character was funny because she was flawed. Now Disney seems ready to frame her as a misunderstood feminist hero taking on cancel culture. The irony writes itself. A fictional puppet with a karate chop is now the latest symbol in the endless culture war between empowerment, narratives, and entertainment fatigue. And I mean, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, they've absolutely lost their minds, right? because the fans are clearly going to turn their nose up at all of this. And these ladies have clearly turned their nose up on any kind of common sense. And no matter how much they try to root around for a profit, this movie is going to flop if any of this actually makes it to the cutting version, right? This is not a truffle that they're going to find next to a tree and that they're going to take home and everybody's going to love. This thing is going to be another massive Disney disastrous dumpster fire that's going to flop at the box office, just like so many other things have. Right? We're going to do another video in not too long about how much they've lost at the box office over the summer, over the last year, because of their own admitted stuff. This is going to be great. This is going to be absolutely great. What used to be an innocent fun has turned into another lecture disguised as comedy. Fans aren't asking for political allegories about Miss Piggy. They just want to return to the kind of clever, chaotic humor that made the Muppet shows timeless. And it's the truth, right? And we've talked about Disney throughout all of this. It's just the funny part about this, because of course they would fund this, right? Despite Bob Iger going, I want to get away from politics. Despite Jennifer Lawrence flat out admitting the fact that her talking about her politics is not what people want, and has caused her problems and has caused her backlash. Is it going to change the way she operates? Is it going to change the way she thinks? Just think maybe she'd have a moment of self-reflection and go, maybe I'm the one that's wrong. No, clearly not. I pray to God in heaven that I'm wrong and that she actually does. You know, I love to see, I don't want to see anybody end up with a pineapple on their rear end walking through the gates of hell. But at the end of the day, it's shown you that although she might keep her mouth shut publicly now about her own personal views, same thing with, well, Jennifer Lawrence specifically is the one that said that, but her and Emma Stone are cut from the same cloth. These people have been arguably damaged by Hollywood and the apparatus that's out there. They've clearly been brainwashed into thinking that the ideological nonsense that gets pushed from Hollywood gets praised and promoted by their trade magazines and all ends up turning into a disastrous dumpster fire, and it's just all them its and phobes out there's fault that it happened. The people that legitimately do believe that and honestly do live in echo chambers are going to take Miss Piggy, shove themselves as far up her rather wide rear end, because she is a pig, and spout all of their nonsense around, rooting around for hopefully anybody that will agree with them, praise them, or pat them on the back for owning the chuds. Because that's what all of this is going to end up being. This is going to end up being a bunch of male bashing, internet troll bashing, garbage nonsense propaganda for Emma Stone and Jennifer Lawrence to work out their own personal gripes with the rest of the world. And they're going to use Miss Piggy and the Muppets as a vehicle for that. And it's disgusting, it's disturbing, but boys and girls, this is Disney. What else should we have expected? The nice part is, because history has proves itself true over and over and over again, Miss Piggy will not go to market. They will root around for a profit as much as they possibly can. But at this thing is going to turn into nothing more than a hog roast, because it will be a disastrous dumpster fire at the box office, and Disney will lose hundreds of millions of dollars. And I, for one, cannot wait, because after all, they danced with the devil in the pale moonlight, and now Miss Piggy is going to be sacrificed on their altar, only to get the exact same disastrous dumpster fire of a result. This will fail, this will flop, and guess what? It'll be our fault when it does.
A big shout out to all of our subscribers and members out there. Thanks for watching, and make sure you guys like and subscribe if you have not already.